Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Joy. Today we're going to be talking about important lessons for every new migrant in Australia. Okay, I know that coming into Australia or migrating from your home country to Australia can be a lot, especially when you come from Africa, because everything is different. What you're used to is totally different. Okay, the system as well is different. Today I'm going to be giving you some lessons that the moment you understand these things and put them into practice, it would save you from some costly mistakes. All right, so without further ado, let's jump right in. The first lesson is that one source of income is not enough. No matter how much you're making, even if you're making six figures, even if you're, in fact, even if you're the president of that company, one source of income is not enough. It's not even sustainable, especially if you have a family. And by family, I mean wife and kids, all right? No matter how much you're making as a man or as a woman, joint efforts in providing for the family or joint financial effort will always be paramount. What do I mean by this? So you see how in Nigeria or in Africa, where a man is all sufficient by himself, he works, he makes money, and the wife is a stay-at-home mom taking care of the kids. That kind of lifestyle is not sustainable in abroad or in Australia because there are a lot of bills to pay. Life is generally not as rosy as social media makes. You know how people talk about living abroad, the good roads and everything. That is beautiful. That is all the glitz and glams. But the reality of it is both of you have to continue to work in order to be able to afford that lifestyle that you admire. Do you understand what I mean? So it takes two to tango. This is what it literally means. It takes both of you putting effort, continuous effort to provide for the family. This will be very difficult for you as a woman if you have that mindset of, oh, I don't work. You know, when you come abroad, you have to, all right? Even if it's a part-time job, even if it's a business that gives you steady income every week, every fortnight, or every month, all right? Now, there are exceptions to this, and that is maybe when you're pregnant or you just had the baby and you're going through postpartum. That is different and that can work only temporarily, but for the long term it is not sustainable. Before I continue, if you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Tell me, what are you waiting for? Click on that subscribe button now before we continue, because you're receiving this vital information for free. You're not even, the only way you can tell me thank you for this information is for you to give this video a thumbs up. Okay, give it a thumbs up so that it would go to other people and they will see it and they will watch it, because it is vital information. Okay, do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to like. All right, let's continue. The second lesson is credit card. We are now in a cashless society, and by cashless I mean nobody goes around holding money or holding cash, except businesses that specifically ask you to pay them in cash, right? But otherwise it's a cashless society. What this means is that you need a credit card, all right? And now there are so many benefits to this, don't get me wrong. There's so many benefits to having a credit card. Number one is, say for example you want to get a loan or a mortgage, they will check your credit card history, right? They want to know how good you are with paying back that loan or paying back that money, and the only way they can know this is through your credit card, right? But do not be tempted, because having a credit card automatically gives you the license to swipe. A lot of people get into so much debt because they have credit cards. I remember when I came into Australia and they introduced me to this thing of putting your card on your phone, so you don't even have to go with your card. You just have to tap your phone and the debit goes. The first 2 weeks I did it, I was broke because I was literally just tapping everywhere I go to, because obviously I have my phone and it's in my phone, right? So what am I trying to say? It is easy for you to get caught up in the whole system of, oh, it's a cashless society, I'm just going to tap my card. You know, you need to be aware, you need to be conscious to know that that is the fastest way to go into debt, all right? Another thing you should keep in mind is that, you know, with credit cards, you can easily finance anything. So you're financing a phone, you're financing a car, you know, people like to finance almost everything. There's even the afterpay option where you have to pay 4 times, you know. So it's easy for you to just go and shop and say, oh, after all, I will pay 4 times, you know. So that is that. It is good, but you should also have it in mind that while you're doing all this and getting caught up in all this, the more credit cards you get, the more bills and the more debt you go into. The third lesson is striking a work-life balance. This is so relatable and so close to home for a lot of us that are Africans or Nigerians. And I'm saying Nigerians because I am a Nigerian and I know a lot of people who have and are still victims to what I'm about to say, okay? You know how the Nigerian structure is in a way that you just do your 9 to 5 or you do your business and you go back home, and then weekends you're literally at home. Here in Australia, the system is structured in a way that you keep working, all right? They have put in so many benefits. By benefits, I mean if you work weekends, you get weekend rates. If you work public holidays, there are public holiday rates. If you work overnight, there's an overnight rate, okay? And there's so many jobs, there's so many opportunities for you to pick up jobs, pick up shifts here and there. If you do not discipline yourself, or if you don't have a work culture for yourself, you will find yourself living for your boss or just working around the clock without having to face your family or take care of home. Okay, you need to strike that balance. You need to strike a balance between knowing when to say, oh, okay, I'm done with work, this is how much I can do, and I want to channel the remaining time or attention to my family or to God or to your personal interest. All right, these things are very important because family will keep calling back home to say, oh, send me money. I don't know, because it's as if there's a particular abroad where they used to pluck money from tree that makes them think that you just go abroad and there's a place when they call your phone you just go and pluck money. Okay, we need to understand that that pressure will always be there. They will always call you to say, oh, send me money, do this. Don't fall under that pressure and go and kill yourself. Okay, you need to strike that balance because your mental health is at stake. You might not understand mental health until you come abroad. It is in abroad you know what they call psychology, mental health, people going through one sickness or the other. It is very prominent in this part of the world because people overwork themselves just because they're trying to make ends meet, just because they're trying to set or they're trying to live a particular standard of life that is pleasing. Okay, and at the end of the day, your family suffers, your kids suffer, other areas of your life suffer because you're not giving them attention, you're not watering them, if you know what I mean. The fourth lesson is that in Australia, getting a certification is very important for you to get a job. Now, this does not dismiss the place of your undergraduate degree. There is your school, whatever you did back home, there is that. But for most jobs in Australia, they want to see that you have at least a certification, even if it's a diploma or a certificate 3 or a certificate 4, just to show them that you understand what this whole thing is about from an Australian perspective or from like an Australian work ethic perspective, if that makes sense. So they want to see that you have this thing. That's why a lot of people would employ, even if you have as little as a diploma, as little as a certificate 3, or just something to show them that you've actually studied here and you understand what you're about to go into. Okay, so getting certification is important. Like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a master's degree. It doesn't have to be an undergraduate. It can be as little as a diploma or a certificate 2 or 3 or 4, right? The next point is that birthing and child raising in Australia is so expensive. And by expensive, I don't mean what everybody usually says that raising kids are not cheap. In Australia, it is expensive because there are a lot of things that are required, and that's why you see a lot of people, they don't have more than 3 kids. This is the reason, in case nobody has told you. People will tell you 2 kids enough, because the more you give birth, the more you spend on each and every one of them. Every child has their personal needs. You see a mom of 3. The first child is doing basketball. The second one is doing baseball or volleyball. The third one is doing gymnastics. You have to pay for their tuitions, for all those things. You have to pay all those extracurricular activities. They must be involved. You have to give them all the time and attention that are required. This is minus the nappies, the formula, all the rishi that is involved. And then let's not talk about the daycare. For people who are not eligible for government subsidies, this is going to be a lot. And by a lot, I mean a lot, because you pay per day. All right, you pay per day. If you don't have government subsidy, you should be looking at paying between $120 to $140 per day. Now, times it by how many kids you have, especially if they're like very small kids. You know what I'm talking about. It's not cheap. And considering that we don't have so much luxury here, by luxury I mean you cannot afford a nanny. It's not like you cannot afford it all. If you are a big boy, if you are a babola, you can afford it. But I'm just saying that it's not a basic luxury, okay? A lot of people cannot afford to get a stay-home or a living nanny. A lot of people cannot afford to get a cook, a cleaner. Even cleaner is quite basic, because I know there was a time I was getting myself a cleaner to do the house cleaning because it was a lot. But these are things you cannot afford for the long term. What that means in essence is that you have to do these things by yourself. And you don't want to have a mental breakdown just because you have kids. So this This aspect of it is one benefit that people who live back home enjoy. But people like us who live here, we do not have that luxury. All right, I call it luxury because it is actually luxury to have nannies, to have people just take your kids, while you just do your thing. It is luxury, okay? Although Australia is the highest paid country in the world, the standard of living is commensurate to that. What am I trying to say? So you see how people in Canada enjoy free this, free that, free healthcare, free daycare, and all that good stuff. That is because their salary rate is relative to what the government gives them. So the government gives you all those benefits because you're probably not earning so much. You get what I mean? But in Australia, where you're earning a lot, especially all the weekend rates and all the benefits here and there, it is commensurate to like the standard of living. So the standard of living in Australia is not cheap. If you're here in Australia and you're comfortable and you can actually afford those things, trust me, back home you're going to be a very rich person. Okay, so it is relative. There are states in Australia where you live in where the standard of living is higher, and that is because they pay them way more. States like Victoria, New South Wales, they enjoy that benefit. Okay, while other states like Darwin, Southern Australia, these places are like, they are less populated and the standard of living is not as high as, okay? And that's why you notice some of them when they tell you how much, so for example, an IT expert is earning in Darwin, an IT expert in Sydney or in Melbourne is 18 times 2. Do you get what I mean? So that is, it's all relative, especially when you're talking about the tax system. The tax system in Australia, I don't know about other places, but it is a lot, okay? And the system is in such a way that if you like work 10 times, the more you work, the more tax they collect. And so the system has a way of just trying to moderate everybody, like all your finances. If you work too much, if you think you want to work 24 hours around the clock, that's fine, go for it. But at the end of the day, you're probably giving half the money to the government. Who wants to do that? Who wants to slave for the government? Nobody wants to do that, okay? So the system is structured in a way that if you don't work too much, you make money. If you work too much, you don't make shit. I don't even know how this came about, but that is the reality of things here. Let's not talk about the housing. Let's not talk about daycare. Let's not talk about other things that would sap the money. This is minus what you pay in tax, all right? So it is all relative. Australia is one of the biggest countries in the world. And by biggest, I mean like, because that Australia used to be a continent of its own before they had to join it with Oceania, to tell you how big it is. But despite its landmass, Australia has less than 30 million population. Less than 30 million. This is nothing compared to population of Nigeria or UK or Canada or so this is a call for you to migrate to Australia. I'm not begging you, I'm just saying it is an opportunity for you to migrate, okay? If you're looking for a good time to migrate to Australia, 2024 might be that year that you have to start considering to migrate to Australia, because the opportunities here are enormous. And I'm not even saying it because I'm on camera, I'm saying because I've lived here for 5 years and I can tell you for free, the job opportunities are endless. The benefits, like a lot of things, they are always short of people, they're always short of manpower, they're always short of labor, they're always short of staff, so this is an opportunity for you to grab the much you can, okay, and just come in and enjoy the benefits. And in saying this, you also need to know that there are more opportunities in like some parts of Australia than others. Like I mentioned before, people who live in Sydney, Melbourne, they have more of these opportunities, more pay. Just like in Nigeria, you see people that live in Lagos, Abuja, they make more than people who live in like Delta, Warri, Ekiti, Sokoto. You know what I mean? Also, just like in the US, the New York is like the big place, okay? And in UK, London is like the big place, okay? You get what I mean? Likewise in Canada, Toronto. They say it's not Toronto, it's Toronto. Toronto is the big place. You get what I mean? So this is just to paint a picture to tell you that even when you're coming to Australia, there are places you go to that don't have so much opportunities, and there are places you go to that have so much opportunities. So it just depends on where you find yourself and the kind of job, the kind of skill you have, the kind of job you're doing, all right? The next lesson is that handy men make more money. Handymen make more money. I'm speaking from experience because I'm a fashion designer in Australia, okay? And I know how much it costs to actually make one dress. This is not to displace the place of professionals, IT, doctors, nurses, and all that. They do. I mean, they make money. But I'm just saying, for handy people, just imagine calling a plumber to your house. Call out fee alone Just to call out a plumber to your house, you're going to pay nothing less than $150 for call out fee. This is minus how much they will now charge you to actually get the job done. And this job I'm telling you about may not even take up to 30 minutes, but they're going to charge you almost $100 for something that would not take up to 30 minutes, all right? Like, the examples are enormous. I can't even begin to count. Is it the electricians, or is it the people that mow? Handymen make money, okay? So this is me telling you, if you know you have a skill that you have, maybe hairdressing or making nails, baking, cooking, this is the time to put it to good use. Because imagine having a job and having a business by the side. Girl, you're gonna make money. My last lesson is that you need licensing for almost everything. And I'm saying almost because there's certain things that didn't necessarily need licensing, but for the most part, e.g., as a truck driver, you need a license. As a chef, you need to be registered. They need to do all those hygiene testing, whatever on you. You need licensing for almost everything. As a matter of fact, here in Australia, people may not really trust your business until they see that you're actually licensed. You have like a brand packaging. They want to see that this business is recognized by the government, just in case anything goes on. A lot of businesses, especially small businesses, have insurance, all right? So they want to see that your business is licensed in case anything goes wrong. They want to see that you're fully covered, your services are covered, and they on their own end too are covered, all right? So all this put together are the lessons you need to know. Whether you're new in Australia or whether you're planning to relocate to Australia, I just said I should tell you, my own job here is to give you vital information. That's why I'm your girl, all right? So thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you. Again, do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and be a part of our growing community, okay? If you're a first timer here, thank you so much for stopping by. Do not make it your last. If you're an OG, I see you. Thank you for making this channel your place of rest, and I appreciate you. And until next time, bye.